So Kenny's not coming. So if we have any questions for him, we'll have to take him async in the channel. So Alexi, you're up first on the agenda.
Yeah, we talked today with Camille, and I summed up some of the current state of the current development in this node, which is linked. And I think that we need to discuss with Kenny if we are going to wait for the announcement or if we are going to decide to reshape our solution to fit the current state of the announcement. And to do this, I'm currently doing like small research on how we could change the query. It's also in this thread which I linked.
Okay.
So that's it.
So we just need Kenny to answer your questions in that issue note there.
Yes.
And you'll be good to go. Okay.
Yes, I would like his input on it.
All right.
Because as Camille mentioned that, like, it's possible to change our solution, but we need to decide if it's worth it and like our return of investments and all this kind of stuff.
Okay. And Kenny was pinged on that, so we'll we can ask him for follow-up there. Kyle, you're up next. Was there anything in the list of bullet items you want to follow up on this meeting, or were all your questions answered?
I would say all of my questions are answered. I passed the information along to the other QEMs. One of the things that we'll look to change, I'll say, is just make sure that we talk about these items as early as we can. I think some of the confusion just kind of arose because the first some QEMs heard about it is when we were testing in production, which it was a little confusing, I think, to them. So that was a lesson learned for me, lesson learned, I think, for the other department or for the rest of the department as well. Mech, I don't know if you had anything to add or if you had a chance to read through.
Yeah, sure. We talked about this in our staff, and I think the better alignment next time is have the counterparts for the memory team also be part of this. I'll take that accountability on my side as well, because I thought that we had, from reading the test plan, I think this group was self-sufficient in running the experiments, like the staging testing went well. So we did not add more people to slow or block things down. We were comfortable with it, but going next time, I think we'll involve our counterparts earlier on in the cycle. But this time, I think we have enough. We have enough artifacts and confidence to move forward. That's my read. And kudos to both Alexi and Camille and you, Kyle, on getting the monitoring things and changing the runner. So I think we're good with this iteration, but lesson learned on our side next time is that we also involve the counterpart team so they can sign up to help out with testing and all that. So I think the purpose of this is to make it transparent to this group that we had a discussion, and no action items for this time. I think this is for the next time around.
I'm kind of like wondering, and Kyle, because like I think Kyle's question is like very on point, and at least from my perspective, I'm not aware of anything that would define how you can and who you should, like, let's say, inform and how you should document this kind of performance validation. Because like we have our own process, maybe our process is more thorough because like we are very careful with that change, but I have no clue exactly how other teams do that. Do they follow something similar to ours, or do they follow something different? It's kind of like pretty like broadly connected with the rollout of the feature flag. How teams really approach the rollout of the feature flag, what makes them consider the feature flag rollout to be successful and like complete, what is the success criteria to remove the feature flag when it is safe. Because like it's kind of like a lot of these, I think, I don't know, quality assurance maybe on the scalability scale. I don't know. It's kind of like my random thoughts. Like I don't think that like we have any like company-wide. Maybe I'm expecting like too much, but like I don't think we have some like templates that we could like base upon that. Like we have some template for the feature flag rollout, but is it like comprehensive from like the expectations like from the quality team like of yours, or like maybe from our expectations? I have no idea. It's kind of like my random set of questions.
Let's do this. Let's spend roughly 5 minutes on the topic, and then we should move on. I'm taking a step back and saying that I think this group has a really good handle on feature flags and how we're simulating it. So there's nothing that needs to be done there. This conversation is more brought up in the broader sense of, okay, in the future, if there's things like this, how could the rest of the quality department can help out? Because this came up with, hey, when we took it back to our team, which team should help Camille, Alexi, and Kyle? Is it the ICD group in our department, or is it the enablement group? And that sparked this conversation. I think with this, right, this is in the context of efficiency, rapid action. So we don't have any process to involve our counterparts group. I think it's like, hey, this is a cohort of people that know what to do. Let's get it done quickly. We know what to test and roll it out. I think we did the right thing here, because it's in line with the rapid action efficiency. I think as Camille, you and I are in the conversations with like feature flags, I think there's a bigger discussion that needs to be had if other teams are doing this type of rollout. The flags are that insurance policy to quickly revert back. In this specific case, at the scale we're testing and the requirements we're trying to solve, we're solving it for us, right? We're tracking GitHub commits for us, and we still need to validate this on production. And we did it on staging, and that was great. Now we need to do it on production, and then it's at the minutes of scale of production that we need to track. Like, unless we have production-like traffic in staging, I still think we need to have some form of validation in production to make sure that it's working as intended. And I see this as a retesting of what we did on staging to make sure we have confidence before the rollout. That's my thought on the issue.
You are mentioning about like the CI minutes rapid action, or like in the broader context?
The broader context.
Okay. Yeah.
And to be fair, if we were to like do that, right, this rapid action won't be a rapid action, because if we had to wait and like, hey, let's put all the traffic in production on our project onto staging, that's going to take much longer for us to resolve this. And with the efficiency on reduction costs and all that, I think we did what's appropriate here. I think the conversation here in the future and other settings going forward, and it shouldn't block our progress here.
So like I think at least from the rapid action perspective, I kind of feel like we are covered pretty well. Like I'm kind of like reflecting to general discussion around the feature flags and the rollout and the confusion that it causes like company-wide. So I see like a bunch of the things that we could be making easier for people doing that process. It's like my personal sentiment. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just, last time I'm saying this, I'm gonna spend 30 seconds on this. This goes in line with what I'm gonna talk with Brent in my next meeting. Is I would love to have gitlab.com.org, GitLab monorepo mirrored into staging and just run the pipeline. You can run it daily, once a day. At least we get some minutes there, right? That would actually improve our testing previously in staging. Hey, we have like a 2-month mirror of what's in production. We were very confident. And now this testing production is like re-validating that, hey, if we do this, it's gonna be cool. Like quickly test it, turn it off, it's good. Okay, let's turn it on for longer. Okay, cool, let's turn it on permanently. We're good. And then we get all the data in. And I think we're on the right track here. It probably needs to be formalized a bit more and iterate.
Okay.
So I think like Alexi, like from our perspective, I have really like no clue if we should continue our investigation with SQL at this point or not. I maybe like correct you to make a decision like with Kenny, like what are the next steps, because like I personally feel that like I have no clear perspective about the next step at this moment.
Yep. Yeah, I'll follow up with
Mhm.
Ken.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. I will follow up, see what we need to do next, and get him to answer in that thread that Alexi called out.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's still like valid, I don't, to spend like 1 or 2 or 3 hours on just testing this SQL to get some general sense. Maybe it's like not a big investment to have like 2 more data points. Maybe it's still like good to do. But Alex, I am kind of like leaving to your wisdom if you feel it's useful or not.
Okay, okay.
All right, anything else we should cover today? Oh, I see collective head shaking. All right, we'll give everybody some time back then. Thanks, everybody.